Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. This is Dr. Makemba. We once again welcome you on this platform, and we encourage you to engage us as we'll be continuing with our Wonders of Wisdom series. Today I'll be talking about yet another interesting subject matter. The title of our subject matter today is entitled Focus. We're going to be looking at some wisdom nuggets surrounding focus. Basically, what focus is basically your center of interest. Often that drives your activities, that drives how you go about conducting yourself and how you go about doing business, how you go about executing your plans for the day. We know that the only reason really why men fail is because of broken focus. When your focus is broken, you cannot really be productive. But if you stay focused, you will go a long way. In fact, research has shown that if you stay consistently focused for about 6 months, it will put you about 5 years ahead of everybody around you in whatever field of endeavor that you are in, if their counterparts are then now not focused. So it's very important as an individual to stay focused. Focus gives birth to purpose. Focus also helps you eliminate wastage. If you are focused and you know what you want out of life, normally your conduct is conscious, is deliberate, and it's often geared at achieving a particular goal. So it's very important that we stay focused. So let's talk about focus from an angle of business, for instance. If you are an entrepreneur, we all know that true entrepreneurs all start off with a zero balance sheet. So what happens if you are a business leader, you're an entrepreneur, for instance, and you want to build a business, you sort of put down your ideas on paper. You narrow it down to what you want to achieve in your business endeavor, and you focus all your energy into making sure that this vision comes to pass. So what you then do is, as you execute the mandate to achieve your objectives, you are narrowing down to doing that one thing that you have determined to do after having done a feasibility study, and you know now for sure that this is what you want to achieve with your life in that area of endeavor, be it whatever business you want to go into. So what then focus does to you is that it eliminates wastage. In other words, you cut out things that are destructive to you. You cut out things that will cost you unnecessary expenditures, and you narrow your business down into a direction that is going to make you productive, that is going to make you effective, that's going to make you efficient, where you are able to broaden your business activity to reach a wider audience, to touch as many lives, and to indeed achieve what you set out to do. So it's very important that we need to basically work on our focus. I have met a lot of people with good ideas, but they got so many good ideas, so then what ends up happening is that they become a jack of all trade and a master of none. So if you really want to be an effective individual, you need to focus on what you are good at, and you need to focus on what you love, and you need to focus on what you will do at any given stage, at any given time in your life. If you find yourself in a space where you are doing what you love, it flows naturally out of you. For instance, of course, talking about focus in the area of business, if you see your neighbor doing something and they are so good at what they are doing, and they are being effective and they are producing result in that area, you can't jump and do the same thing just because it's working for your neighbor. No. Because your neighbor could be trading in an industry or be in a space where they love what they do. And oftentimes, when you do what you love, you will do it even when you're not getting paid for it. And this is the key that a lot of people don't understand. Every successful individual I have known, I have come across, I have read about, they've always taken on projects in areas that they love the most. Bill Gates loves computers. That's why he's the Bill Gates today. He didn't see somebody else does a business in the computer industry and then he also said no, because my neighbor is doing it, therefore I can also do it. It doesn't work like that. The quickest way to destroy yourself is to copy somebody else, to try to do something that you have seen somebody else does because you think it's working. That is not the key to making it. Individuals that are succeeding are individuals that have locked themselves up into doing what they love the most. You should be in a space where even if they call you at past midnight while you are deep asleep to do what you love, you will wake up and do it with a smile on your face. That's where the key is. That's the crack of the matter. You will never be able to succeed by becoming a copycat. And I think it's very important, especially with young people that are, stepping up their games. They want to, do, things. They want to, establish enterprises. They want to become effective in their community. Whatever area of life you want to be in, just bear in mind that you gotta be focused, and it starts with doing what you love the most. If you try to copy somebody else, you might run into a danger, because love then becomes a fuel. If you're in a space where you're doing what you love, love becomes a gas that drives you. And if you love what you do, that love will always be there. So even if everybody else is lethargic, everybody else is dragging their legs, if you're in a space where you're doing what you love the most, guess what? When you wake up every morning, you're looking forward to doing that, right? Because you love it, you're passionate about what you do. It's coming from your heart, And of course, when you love what you do, it narrows it down, There are certain things that, I see working for other people, but I don't love them. So the idea of me entering that space simply just, put me off. I know of people that have done a good job in the construction sector, for instance. I don't know what construction is all about, so I won't even bother myself. Because if I try to enter the construction space, I might end up getting projects and I will not be able to deliver. Then I'll look like a failure, because I've entered a space that I'm not passionate about. And this is what we need to understand as young people, especially when we are trying to be effective in any other aspect of our lives. You need to do something that you love the most. And when you're doing what you love the most, is that you will come to that point, even if you are not getting paid for it, guess what? You will still continue doing it. You understand? And that's the beauty of this thing, A lot of people look at, business personalities and entrepreneurs and those that have succeeded in doing business, in building empires, and think that these people, maybe they are a special kind of a group of people, or maybe they've had some luck. It's not like that, If you look at most of these successful people today, they've been rejected many times. They've knocked on many doors, but they kept going. Why? Because they love what they do, and the love that they have and the passion is what has fueled them. I can tell you now, if you enter a space and try to engage any endeavor, any persuasion that is not emanating from your heart, that you're not passionate about, if you get rejected 2, 3, 4 times, you are likely to give up. But if you love what you do, if you're passionate about what you do, guess what? In fact, rejection only compels you to keep going. I've been rejected many times in many places. I've been treated like a child. I've been belittled. I've worked with people that don't believe in me. But that didn't stop me from persuading what I love. Why? Because I knew it from my heart that this is what I love and I want to do this. So, the best you can really do for yourself as a young person is to, sort of narrow down what you want to do. Do that, self-introspection. Search yourself. Ask yourself, do I really love this? Can I do this even if I'm not getting paid for it? And if the answer is yes, guess what? You have just discovered yourself. And if you have discovered yourself, it's now time to do a feasibility study. Study the industry, study the market and the space in which you want to go into, and then find a niche for yourself. You understand? Study your competitors, understand their weakness, understand their strength. Capitalize on the areas that they are not so strong in, improve on that. It gives yourself sort of an advantage over your competitors. Do things differently, but more than anything else, you must do what you love. More than anything else, you must do what you're passionate about. Because if you try to copy the brother next door or the sister next door, that is a remedy for disaster. And of course, talking about focus, what happens is that every morning you wake up, we all wake up with that, thing on our mind. Every morning you wake up, there will always be something that you want to achieve for the day. And oftentimes, people sometimes they don't really take care to sort of, do, an analysis of, what goes in between their two ears. This thing in between your two ears called the brain is a very powerful thing. The power of thoughts are often, neglected. Look, if you wake up, for instance, and you decide that you want to get wasted for the day, you want to get stoned, guess what? You entertain that thought long enough, eventually you'll do something that will get you wasted. Understand that? So a lot of times, there's a saying that wherever the mind goes, the man follows. Everything you do, you get there with your thinking first. Every decision you ever made, it started in your mind before it became an action. So this is where you need to now gauge your focus and understand your thought processes and focus your mind. You need to focus your mind on an objective, on a vision, in a direction, and you need to wake up every day. And if you have to repeat the same exercise over and over and over again until you have perfected your game, this is how it is done. There's a saying that successful people do daily what unsuccessful people do occasionally. In other words, it is that a repeated simple step that is done over and over and over again. After a longer period of time, you realize you would have accomplished so much by simply engaging the repeated action over and over again. If it's an action of kindness, if it's an action of love, if it's an action of just showing respect and genuinely doing things out of passion and loving to just serve the next person. You understand? People are not stupid. People are not blind. People can see when what you do is done with passion. People can also see when you are just about money, for instance. You don't really care about what the next person thinks. You don't really care about what the next person feels. All you want to do is cash in and move on. People can see all of these things, and you cannot hide it from people. So we need to develop ourselves from within. We need to develop the culture of, being passionate, and we need to develop the culture of loving what we do. And, the best thing with focus also, focus is actually, something that can preserve you. If I can focus my thinking, I can focus my mind, I get to focus on what I want to do. Guess what? That very same focus immediately dictates where I spend my time, where I do not spend my time. The focus dictates who I allow in my inner circle and who does not get allowed in my inner circle. The focus dictates how I spend my money. And there's something very important, especially in the aspect of, money and expenditure. Normally, how you spend your money is tied to your value systems. I can give a man $1,000 now and ask him what he has done with $1,000 a day later. And then if he tells me what he has done, he does not have to explain anything further. I can already detect what his value systems are. For instance, let's say you are working somewhere, you are salarized, you are on a salary. If the first thing that comes to your mind when your salary hits your bank is which shop to go to and buy the latest item, guess what? That's your value system. You will be looking polished, you'll be wearing the latest brands, but that's probably as far as you go in life. Nothing more, nothing less. But for instance, if you are driven by growth, you want to multiply the little that you have, as soon as that little hits your bank, guess what? You'll be looking out to engage and invest the little that you have in places where it can grow and multiply back to you. Now that is focus. It's coming from your mind. You have determined that you're going to do it differently. And of course, once you have gauged in there and now you have now come to that place where you really know what you want in life, what you're passionate and what you love, you need to give it everything you have. I always tell people, everywhere you go, in everything that is expected of you, you must always bring your A game. It's not time to bring your B game. You must always bring your A game on the table. Give it the best. Give it everything you have. Serve with passion. And if you maybe fall short in one area of that which you are doing, go back again. Always keep on reevaluating yourself. Look at how you have done it a year ago in comparison to now. Has anything changed? Has there been any improvement? And if there's no improvement, ask yourself, okay, if I did it last year this way, it was a little bit average. How can I now craft my game a little bit, make it more excellent? And as you do this, guess what? It creates platforms for you. It opens up doors for you. It also puts you in a circle of different people. You understand? People that I called friend 20 years ago, some of them, I don't even know where they are now. You understand? And I can't possibly go back to the same group of people in terms of wanting to associate with them. Not all of them can fit in my life right now, where I am, my value systems, what I want to achieve with my life. So what focus also does is like a magnet. Focus pulls, the kind of crowd that is good for me. Have you ever heard the English saying, birds of the same feathers, they always flock together? You understand? So the areas in which you are focusing your life in is the areas that will sort of propel the kind of people that are like-minded to come your way. There's a saying that you're an average of the 5 people you spend most of the time with. Guess what? If 4 of your friends are broke, you'll be the 5th one. Just the same way, if you got 5 millionaire friends or 4 millionaire friends, you'll be the 5th one. You might not become the millionaire overnight, but if you associate with these people over a longer period of time, you learn value systems. You learn how things are done. You will eventually get to understand how they got where they are. And eventually, if you keep doing exactly what they did, you too will end up there. So this is very important. Why? Because a lot of people today, they got so much potential. But because they do not know how to tap in that potential, their potential is not realized. The richest place on earth are not the diamond mines, are not the gold mines. It's not the ocean. The richest place on earth today is a graveyard. Why? Because so many people went there with so much potential that was not realized. So many people went there with dreams that they had in their heart, things they wanted to do for humanity, things they wanted to do, impact they wanted to have left on this planet. But because they were not focused, because they did not allow the focus to bring them in the right kind of association, because they were jack of all trades, they ended up masters of none. And to be a jack of all trade, it's one of those things that you are neither here nor there. You understand? People can't place you, and that's not the way to live. You need to come to that place in your life where people knows you that this is the kind of a man this individual is. This is the kind of a woman this individual is. If you are into business, do it with excellence. If you are raising a family, protect, preserve, and grow your family value systems. If you are a leader, lead with the passion of putting the interest of other people first. Let that be your focus, And, if you do that, guess what happens? Eventually, people will know you for a particular character or for a particular area of interest. And then what happens, every time a need in that area of life arises, guess what? Your name will always be associated with that. And this is when you realize now people will start to engage your services, and people would want you to come on board to help, do this or that. And guess what? This is what creates a platform for your greatness to find expression. Everything is created to solve problems. For instance, this pen. The purpose for this pen is to solve the problem of writing. The purpose for my voice is to solve the problem of communicating and being heard. The purpose of the brain is to solve the problem of feeling. Unfortunately, a lot of brains today are shut down. People are not thinking. They just do not want to take time, sit back, think about what they're going to do next. they just almost on the go. And oftentimes people don't take time to think about what they're going to do next. They just act. Unfortunately, in life, we are all free to choose. We can do whatever we want to do with our lives, but we are not free from the consequences of our choices. And a lot of people today, they find themselves in the problems of wrong choices. They do things without focusing. They do things without thinking about what they are doing. And now when they are now having to, sort of reap the repercussions of the consequences of their choices, then they want the whole world to feel sorry for them. But oftentimes, if you had sat back, reflected, gauge into that which you are about to do, ask yourself really, how is that going to benefit me? How is it going to benefit the next person? Will it make me a better person? Will it make my neighbor a better person? Or will it bring distraction? And then, having of course deliberated on that, it helps you make better decisions. Focus is so powerful that it just makes life easy. When you know where you're headed in life, life becomes worth living. But if you are just there, you wake up every day, you are not too sure what you want to do with your life. You basically, if you leave, life to chance, chances are there that you might not make it anyway. And that's just how it is. You cannot take chances with life. There's a saying that you only got this one life, you gotta live it. You understand? And of course, this is where you find people blaming government for everything. They think the government is there to take care of everything. Yeah, the government is there to do certain things for us. They need to create platforms where we can live in peace and stability. They need to create platforms where we can trade and set up our businesses and grow them. Then they need to create platforms where human rights are respected. Government need to create platform where humanity is built up. But after all these platforms are created, if you and I on our individual basis, we do not man up, we do not take up the platforms, we do not engage the environment created for us to flourish in, and we do not grow ourselves, guess what? All this effort that government put in to create those platforms will mean nothing. And then you and I will end up blaming government for everything. And I'm sure by now you probably have realized it's a whole world phenomenon. Government is not an answer to everything. There's just no way. In fact, politics cannot answer all the problems of the day. We need to come in as individuals. We need to do the right thing. We need to, start thinking differently. And especially to young people out there, you cannot be young forever. And if you look back, your own parents were young at some stage. Their parents were young too. And I know young people will sometimes like to hide behind this idea that I'm very young, I still have time, time is on my side. You will be saying you still have time until you are 60. And then at 60 you think you still have time. And every second that ticks, you are getting older. And I was talking to somebody the other day, I said, you know what, I would rather take chances and take risks with my life and try to establish my vision at a very young age. Why? Because if it doesn't work, I still have time to sort of look back, recalculate my actions, and then refocus myself and try again. I think I'm at a better chance doing what I love when I'm young than to try doing it at 70, for instance. Yeah, there were a few, success stories of individuals that started off very late and still made it. But those are few individuals. I mean, how much more do you think they would have achieved had they started at a very early age? Look at the man that started KFC, for instance. He was well over 60 when he started KFC. Can you imagine how far he would have taken the vision if he had started KFC at 30? He would have even probably taken it further than it is today. So it's very important, especially as young people, to sort of start really making, time, let's make this conversation, something that we engage. You know, let's start having this kind of conversation within ourselves, within our circle of friends. You know, let's start building each other up. Let's start, challenging ourselves. Focusing our direction in something that is productive, in something that is meaningful, in something that is going to, outlive us, something that is going to create, a platform, of building a legacy. You know, and of course, look, we don't choose families that we are born into. We don't even choose the pigmentation of our skin. We just come through the family that we come through. It's not so much so of where you came from, but where you are headed. And if you do not know where you are going, you're probably not going to get anywhere. So we need to now sit back, start reflecting on these kind of things, and gauging our mind there, really stay focused, and do that which is going to make a difference in our life. This is your brother, Dr. Makemba, saying, keep focused, stay focused until we meet again. Thank you very much.